before. At this point, I didn't really know Cory or Mackinnon. But at this point, the groupthink was so crazy that it just seemed like we all felt similarly on an island. Everyone thinks this professor is wrong, should be fired. The groupthink was like nothing I've seen before.
And after the sort of listening, talking session we had with the professor, then these student organizations that were against him proceeded to try and organize a protest, walking out of his classroom. So Michael, Cory, and myself organized a walk-in alternate protest, which didn't at the time win us that many new allies.
What were the numbers like relatively, like on both sides of the protest and the counter protests?
For the counter protests, we probably had 40 or 50 there.
Yeah.
I don't personally know for the actual protests because
it was definitely bigger.
They were at the same time.
Yeah.
It would have been bigger. They were outside marching, chanting. What was it? Free expression is oppression is what they were chanting.
I mean, that was the popular thing to do.
Yeah.
There was well over 100 people.
Yeah. My boyfriend, who is not in law school, isn't involved in any of this stuff, but he was like, he heard about the walkout and he texted me while it was happening. He was like, don't walk out. And I had to explain to him, like, no, walking, like, because he doesn't want me to get involved or get in trouble. And I was like, no, you don't understand. Like, walking out is the thing the popular people are doing. Like, that's the orthodox thing. If I wanted to not get involved, I would be walking out. Walking in is actually like the harder thing to do. But, it's just kind of hard to, it's kind of hard to explain that because these things are so weird.
But, I think the walk-in was quite successful. If in no other sense, it was successful in that it fractured this image which the original protesters were trying to create of this is a monolith. Everyone agrees with us. There's no room for dissent.
Right.
And at the end of the day, that's what the walk-in was about. Yeah. It was about saying you have every right to protest if that's what you feel you need to do. But there are other options. So you don't have to. And so it created that space for dissenting voices. And I think we had a very good turnout.
Yeah, I think that's a profile in courage, and it allowed each of you to actually recognize just how many, who else was also in agreement with you and come together, and that's why you're starting this free speech club or free speech forum, which to me it's mind-boggling because you're all law students, right? And the very fact that, so not only is this forum where you're going to invite speakers to debate ideas, but it seems that the values and the culture of free speech in and of itself is not valued at a place like Emory law. This is scary to me. And, I think there's a reason the founders enshrined it in the Constitution as the First Amendment. And very powerful, right? And it's something that really sets the United States apart. There's really no other country like it in that regard. But here you are at a law school and people are marching and calling free speech oppression. I think can you just kind of dwell on why this phrase and these slogans and this idea that it is oppressive actually dangerous, not just for your profession, but, for the country in general?
So I think that these attitudes come in large part from ignorance from those who are espousing them. They haven't studied their history enough. They don't understand. They haven't thought about it thoroughly enough to understand what actually the function of free speech is in our society. And for ours, it's the way that our society releases tensions and gets through difficulties and challenges that we have with one another. And when you take that away and you limit that, at a certain point, you get to a point where the only thing that's left is violence within a society. And you see that in other societies around the world and throughout history where they had no mechanism by which they could communicate ideas, in which they could hash things out in nonviolent ways. And they had lots of violence. So I think it's dangerous beyond any profession. I think it's one of the bedrock institutions of our civilization. And it's a good hill to die on, though it's an even better hill to win on.